go check on Matt. A lot of banging and clanging going on down here. Let's see what he's up to. What's going on, Matt?
Just busy working. So, our last video was tearing out the tank over there on the other side. And once again, we received a lot of good comments. Thank you guys for that. We really appreciate them.
Yeah, I think we kind of laid it all out pretty well. And you can see the difference between good material and bad material. For instance, right here, I haven't trimmed this up all the way, but this is just starting to corrode, and it's thin. Or I should say, that corrosion is very light right there. That's probably not even a 64th into the material, and this stuff, of course, is good.
We'll have it in a more, dry environment,
Yeah.
so to speak, where it's not going to be corroded into.
Right, that's the biggest thing, is that is protecting the tank going forward, is that we're not going to have the environment that led to that corrosion. There's not going to be spots where moisture, particularly salt water, can get behind it and something else and start corroding and make an area that you can't see and that just doesn't get dry.
The other thing is that materials are expensive, so we don't really want to replace that entire tank. That's probably $500 plus in materials right there.
Boy, I haven't even checked, but that's so that was 48 inches long. So that is probably that's at least a 4 by 10 foot sheet of aluminum right there, and this is 3/16. And so by the time it was shipped up here, you're probably looking at least $800.
Mm-hmm.
We're over here now, and that was another concern, is why you didn't pull that one out. Well, we just didn't show it on video. We're getting to it.
We didn't get to it yet. You can see I pulled the water tank out, or the hot water tank, and disconnected our water again. Took out just a block of wood that was up here, and also the hydraulics. As you can see behind me, I didn't record it, but I've stripped off those filters that were left over up here and coiled up their hoses over there. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get this guy out of here and inspect it.
Yeah.
We agree, it's pretty important to know that you have a good tank, so that's definitely something we wanted to do.
Yeah, so going forward, we're going to know that we have two tanks that are in perfectly good serviceable condition up forward that we don't need to worry about. We'll have capacity somewhere 200-ish, and
should be
150 for that, somewhere in there. And so that's a good volume of fuel. We're not worried about losing a little bit on this one side because we did need that hydraulic tank desperately. That solves a big problem for us right there. And going forward, it would be foolhardy not to pull this out because there's nothing in the way on this right now. It took Matt 20 minutes to get the tank drained and to drop that pump off of there. And right now it's easy to get at. Pretty soon we'll be populating that back bulkhead again, and then things just get crowded and complicated at that point. So if you didn't do this now, you're probably going to do it later.
Yeah, with the way that one appeared, all of a sudden, it's like Dad said, it'd be foolish not to do it now.
If we have a problem with this, which I kind of suspect that we will be replacing the bottom on this at the very least. But now is the time to do it, as opposed to later. We've got a lot more room over here to rotate the tank over and inspect it and clean it up and trim it if need be. And so that's going to be the plan right there, is to get that done now. Really the only thing to do is to trim that off.
Right there, I think, and I'll probably just remove that block.
I think so.
Because we could just throw a new leg through them into the wall. And I think that'll be fine.
Or maybe just come back in with some angle or something there.
Yeah, or that'd be fine too.
Whichever works best.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna get into this. Just start by taking that block off and cutting this edge out. And try and do the same thing we did on the other side. All right. Well, so far, about the same as the other side, filth-wise. Maybe not quite as bad. It's more water than oil, and I think most of that water came from me draining out the water lines, so. Tore off some of the glue connecting those beams there, and a little snake of adhesive here. Well, we're gonna have to pull this end kind of up and out so that we can pop that fill out of its socket back there, hopefully. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to go and pull that fill cap off and disconnect it that way. But yeah, let's try and rock this thing up. It seems like this one will go fairly easily, at least in that direction. You can see it's popping back because that fill tube though. I think I'll probably just have to go ahead and take that off. I just cut it like we did the other side, but we don't want a bunch of rubber chunks getting into the tank because we're not actually cutting, well, we may cut this one open, we don't know yet. Not gonna know until we see the bottom, but don't want to leave a bunch of rubber pieces down there from the fill tube before we know we're cutting it open. So I think I'll probably just make it easy on myself and go take that fill cap off and yeah, take it off that way. Okay guys, so up here on deck, this is the side walkway on the starboard, right above the tank. This is the inspection port. Let me squeeze through that crack. So there's the fill cap, there's that inspection port we were talking about. I don't really like. Go ahead and take this fill cap off and pry it up and hopefully wiggle that fill tube off. Left my other pry bar down in the engine room. Trying to save myself the trip by using this miniature. Was hoping it would just pull off that stub that's on, but might not be so lucky, unfortunately. Okay guys, I'll just keep working at this here. Sorry again. Okay, so this isn't loose yet. I'll try and break the kind of bond it has with the little stub of aluminum coming off the tank. So I could just like spin this and crack it free like a piece of hose. Bring you guys back once we go down below and wheel that tank out. So, as you guys saw, I just ended up chopping out that end block right here. Took about 3 minutes. Make life a lot easier trying to move this tank around, not having to get it unwedged from that tight slot. So, I rammed the 2x4 under the middle of it to act as a pivot. I'm gonna tip the tank that way and empty out the remaining fuel and just sediment if there's any. Hopefully it kind of washes out with whatever fuel is left in there. So we'll do that now. So like we said before, this is pretty old fuel at this point. Over here is would have been stuff from Juno, so 2 years old or so. Perfectly fine for this old Jimmy and or our furnace. So we'll wiggle this thing around a little bit more here. Get her good and drained out, get propped up, and that kind of run all run to the corner here and drip out, and then flip her over and take a look. We've already seen a couple of pits there on the corner, so not very confident in the bottom of this tank, but we'll see. See when we get that far. Yeah, all right, guys. Pretty grody. Time to clean up. Okay, well, I got the bottom at least scrubbed off and got the heavy off of it. Still got the wall to go. I'll get that tomorrow. And go over this again because it's still kind of a little bit greasy, so do that. Get the bottom of the tank as best I can, and I'll probably try and tip it that way and get the other side of the bottom, and then it should be fairly well clean. So then we can go over it, start inspecting it, and determine whether or not we're going to chop the bottom off or not.